Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing great. Now a few weeks ago I did a short video where I listed 4 budget friendly fragrances that I keep recommending to my friends. And since I think that's a pretty good idea for a video, I'm going to take that idea and expand a little bit on that. I'm going to turn it into a feature video. So in today's video, I've prepared a list of 15 budget-friendly options that I keep recommending to my friends whenever they seek a fragrance advice. And there are two main reasons why I have included the scents featured in this video today. The first of all, as I said, they're budget-friendly options, and the second reason is because they have good enough quality. So at the end of the day, you can smell great on a budget. Now the video will be divided into a few different sections. I'll show you some warm weather scents. I'm going to show you some darker, sweeter, cold weather scents. I'm going to show you a few versatile scents that can be worn all year round. And I'm going to start with the warm scents, the warm weather scents, the summertime scents. The first one comes from the house of Lattafa, and it's called Hayti, or as some places this is known as Hayti Black. This thing is a sort of a mix between the DNAs of Paco Rabanne's Invictus and something like Rasasi Hawas. You get that sweet bubblegummy type of scent profile that feels that has enough freshness in there as well, so that it can work great in warm weather. It also has some oud, some spices, but all in all, it's all about the sweetness. This thing is a sort of a very likable, fresh type of scent that will get you compliments. You can wear this to the gym, you can wear this outside, you can wear this to the beach. Performance here is pretty decent, the projection is pretty decent. I really like the bottle design of this fragrance, and the best thing out of all is that it's very, very cheap. My next suggestion comes from the house of Maison Alhambra, and it's called Yeah. And this thing is a clone of YSLY EDP. It's a nicely done clone of the original fragrance. You got some fruity sweetness, an apple note in here, you got some spices. On the dry down you got some ouds, you got some additional amber sweetness. A nicely done clone of the original fragrance that has sort of a soapy vibe to it as well. The original is known as a very versatile and very likable fragrance, and the Yeah from Maison Alhambra makes no difference. It will get you quite close to the original scent. Performance wise, not as good as the original, but still pretty decent performer. And again, another great thing about this fragrance is that it can usually be found for very, very cheap. And one other great thing about this scent DNA is the fact that it's very likable and will probably get you a lot of compliments. The next two that I'm going to show you are sort of some of my recent discoveries. The first one is from the house of Lattafa, and it's called Liam, or Liam Blue as it's known in some places. And this thing is a nicely done clone of Acqua di Gio Profondo. Now, the original scent is very likable, summertime scent, very versatile, and Liam Blue makes no difference. Again, you got some sweetness, you got some oudiness, you got some spiciness, some citruses in here, a touch of aquatic notes as well. Very, very nicely done fragrance that performance-wise will probably even outperform the original scent. Now, Armani fragrances tend to be quite expensive, but fortunately Liam Blue is very much on the budget side. When this was initially released a couple of months ago, it was a little bit more expensive, but nowadays this can be found for something like $20, $25 in the US, 20-25 euros here in Europe, which makes it a great deal. And the last freshie that I'm going to show you in this video is again one of my recent discoveries. It's from the house of Zaafaran, and it's called Alderham Limited Edition. And this thing is a nice alternative to the scent of Allure Homme Sport from Chanel. Very nicely done, very nice quality of this fragrance. You got that bright citrusy opening, you got some spices, quite a lot of vanilla sweetness in here as well, a lot of muskiness on the dry down. Very, very long lasting for a cheapie, definitely outperforms the original scent, and it costs a fraction of the price of the original. Nowadays, Chanel fragrances tend to be very, very expensive, and they cost as much as niche scents in some cases. As I said, this thing will outperform the original fragrance. It's slightly sweeter compared to the original scent, but it's a very, very likable fragrance that works great in warm weather and will get you a lot of compliments. And also in the box of this thing you'll get, apart from the 100 milliliter bottle size that I'm showing you right now, you also get a 20 milliliter travel size bottle, which is a great touch in my opinion, you know, from Art Al Zaafaran. Okay, it's now time to move to the, you know, darker, a little bit sweeter scents that are, you know, great for the cold weather seasons. And I'm going to start with one fragrance from the house of Lattafa that's called Lattafa Assad. This thing, of course, is a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. One of the first clones of Elixir to hit the markets, and still to this day I think it's a great alternative to the original fragrance. It's a little bit sweeter, a little bit more, you have a little bit more vanillic sweetness in here. It's not as sharp and as spicy as you get with the original scent, which might even make it a little bit more mass pleasing compared to Sauvage Elixir. Performance is great, especially after some maceration. This thing has turned into a really great performer. Projection is great. Price, you know, prices on this thing, unlike, you know, a lot of the other hyped up clones, have remained stable, and still to this day this can be found for a very good price. The only thing that I don't like about this thing is the bottle design, which is a little bit tacky in my opinion, but that should not stop you from getting this fragrance. The next one that I'm going to show you, that I'm going to suggest, is one of the, you know, let's call it one of the forgotten gems recently. It comes from the house of Rosassi and it's called Daresh. Now this thing used to be quite popular a few years ago. Nowadays not too many people talk about this one, but I think it still deserves some more attention. It's a very nicely done fragrance that's very reminiscent to a long discontinued fragrance from the house of Valentino, which is called Valentino V. It's quite sweet, quite spicy, a little bit musky, a little bit woody, very warm, a very interesting scent, and I absolutely love this thing. I love the sort of the purplish juice color of this fragrance. Performance is good, projection is good, and again the best thing out of all is that this thing is dirty cheap, can usually be found for a very low price. It has really nice quality to it, and I really think that it deserves more attention than it currently gets. The next one that I'm going to show you comes from the house of Haramain, and still to this day I think this is the best bang for your buck when it comes to a Latham clone, and it's called Haramain Detour Noir. Super ugly bottle, super low quality on the whole presentation and the bottle and the design and everything else, but the juice inside is really nice, and I really like this one. This is a as I said, a clone of Latham, and it's a very nicely done clone, especially considering the price point of this thing, you know, that it costs about a tenth of the price of the original. Still will get you very close. Feels a little bit, let's call it a little bit fresher compared to the original scent, but other than that, the quality of the juice in here is very nice. Performance is good, projection is good. It's a very nice cold weather scent, very festive scent that works great, you know, in the Christmas holidays. So if somebody asks me for a clone of Latham, you know, the best bang for a buck when it comes to a clone of Latham, I'd still to this day recommend Haramain's Detour Noir. And the last fragrance that I'm going to show you in this section comes from the house of Zimaya, and it's called Sharaf Blend. At the current time, this is the best clone of Kilian's Angel Share. I absolutely love the scent of this thing. It's not identical to the original fragrance. It lacks a bit of that strong alcohol, you know, strong boozy note that you get in the opening of Angel Share. This still has a boozy note, but it's a little bit toned down. But on the dry down, it's super close to Angel Share. This feels a little bit like a mix between Angel Share and Lattafa Camera. It's very sweet, very nicely done. Super good performer, pretty much a beast mode performing fragrance, a room filling type of scent, projects really nicely. The whole presentation is absolutely fantastic. The bottle design and the quality of the bottle is absolutely great, and the price tag still, even after the hype, is still pretty low, and this can be found for a very reasonable price. A perfectly unisex scent that also can be a great gift for somebody. The next two fragrances that I'm going to show you are for those people who love tobacco based scents, and the first one comes from the house of Ryan Tradition, and it's called Insurrection 2 Wild, and this thing is a clone of Mugler's Pure Havana. I absolutely love the original fragrance, and I really like Insurrection 2 Wild a lot. You get that you know, nice combination of tobacco, honey, some lavender, you know, some fruity sweetness. This thing feels a little bit fresher compared to Pure Havana. It doesn't feel as dark and as dense as you get with the original fragrance, but still is very nicely done. This can also be used as an alternative to Naxos from Xerjoff as well. It's a little bit more, you know, further away scent-wise from, you know, from Naxos, but still can serve as a cheaper alternative to Naxos. So if you're looking for a tobacco-based, sweet tobacco-based scent with some freshness, some fruitiness, something that can be an alternative to pure Havana or Naxos, definitely check out Insurrection to Wild from Ryan Tradition. And the next tobacco scent that I'm going to recommend to you guys, and I'm recommending to my friends, again, one of my recent purchases comes from the house of Maison Alhambra, and it's called Exclusif Tabac, and this thing is a clone of Carolina Herrera's Mystery Tobacco. It can also serve as an alternative to red tobacco from Mancera, even to something like Carlisle from Parfum de Marlis, although it's a little bit more different compared to Carlisle, but still, you know, it's done in a similar style. You get a very nice sweet tobacco with some spices, some woods, there's some floral freshness in here. It's very, very nicely done, very nicely blended, very smooth tobacco scent that has great performance and great projection, and in my opinion this is a very unisex scent. So if you're looking for a nice sweet, strong, nice sweet tobacco scent, definitely check out Exclusif Tabac from Maison Alhambra. The next fragrance that I'm going to show you is for people who are looking for something very sweet, you know, for something like a clubbing type of scent. Now, here I can show you quite a few choices, but this time around I'm going to go with probably what's the cheapest one when it comes to the cloning of the original fragrance that I'm going to talk about, but still very, very nicely done. The fragrance is called LFA Ram Silver, and this thing is a clone of Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mauve. You get a very similar scent profile, that sweet bubblegummy pure opening that has some freshness, you got some mint, some lavender, and you got lots of vanilla on the dry down. It's not an exact clone of Ultra Mauve. This thing feels a little bit sweeter to Ultra Mauve. In my opinion, here has a bit more emphasis on the vanillic sweetness. It lacks a bit of the freshness that you get out of Ultra Mauve, but other than that, it's very, very nicely done. The bottle looks hideous, but the price tag is very, very low. And let me tell you something, this thing, after, you know, a bit of maceration, turned into a really, really good performer. It's very long lasting, very strong projecting, and as I said, the best thing out of all is the fact that it's super, super cheap. And the last section of this video will be about those super versatile scents that can be worn all year round. They have enough of freshness to work in warm weather, and they have enough of performance to work in cold weather. And I'm going to start with a fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra that's called Victorioso Victory, and this thing is a super nicely done clone of Invictus Victory from Paco Rabanne. Now, I've said this many times, I'm not the biggest fan of the original scent, but I cannot deny the fact that Maison Alhambra have done an outstanding job copying the original fragrance. It's almost identical scent-wise, it's almost identical performance-wise, and costs a fraction of the price of the original. You got this vanillic, spicy, fresh, aromatic type of scent that has some oods on the dry down. Enough freshness to work in warm weather, enough of performance to work in cold weather, a compliment getter, and all in all, a very, very nicely done fragrance. The next one is another super versatile monster of a fragrance. It comes from the house of Haramain, and it's called Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. This thing is a very, very interesting combination of the scent of what you get out of something like Dior Sauvage EDT that's mixed in with some citrusy, fruity sweetness, like what you get with Creed Aventus or something like Club de Nuit Intense Man EDP. It's because of that, you know, combination of two super versatile and two super likable scent profiles, the end result is a very, very versatile scent. The next one comes from the house of Rue Broca, and it's called Rue Broca Theoreme, and this thing is a clone of Bulgari's Tiger. Probably my favorite clone of Tiger. Now, the original scent is super, super versatile and very likable, and this thing makes no difference. You get a very nice grapefruit note in the opening. I really, really like the opening of this fragrance. Really nice, sweet, juicy grapefruit note. Some other citruses. The dry down is very musky and very woody. Performance here is great for a freshie. Projection is great. The compliment factor on this thing is, you know, out of this world. Pretty much super, super versatile scent that just works all year round. You know, no question asked. Performance price tag is also very, very affordable. I like the bottle design. Oh, you know, this is a fantastically done fragrance and probably the best out of the Rue Broca house. And the last fragrance that I'm going to show in this video comes from the house of Haramain, and it's called Club de Nuit Iconic, and this is a very, very nice clone of a Bleu de Chanel EDP. I really Really like this fragrance. Like the original scent, this is probably the king when it comes to versatility. It's kind of blue, kind of fresh, kind of citrusy, also quite woody on the drying down. It lacks a bit of the quality of the original scent, of course. It lacks a bit of that creamy feeling that you get out of the original Bleu de Chanel, but still has very nice qualities, very, very nicely done. In my opinion, this is like a little bit more of a masculine version of the original scent. Performance is fantastic, projection is fantastic, complement, super high complement factor. As I said, it's so versatile that this can be used for any type of occasion, just name it. Office usage, gym usage, date night, night out, doesn't matter. This thing just works. Price tag is relatively low on this fragrance. Quality is really nice. I really like the bottle design and the color combination in here, and this thing is just absolutely fantastic. And so guys, in today's video I showed you a total of 15 fragrances that I keep recommending to my friends whenever they ask me for a fragrance advice. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.